What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami for the Toku Animation News Network, and this is my Quickie review. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Final Destination is the latest movie in the Final Destination series, which is kind of weird because it's called Final Destination, but there's now 6 movies, so this destination is not really final. It's like Final Fantasy. When is the Final Fantasy going to actually happen? But anyway, Final Destination Bloodlines does an interesting twist on the formula. Usually when the movies start out, we are introduced to the character, they go through some sort of event, and everybody dies, and it turns out it was just a premonition what's going to happen. The character freaks out, they end up getting other people involved, and the day is saved until sometime later when they all just start getting killed off by death. Through supernatural, realistic, sometimes, but mostly unrealistic means. But a lot of the times the series has done a great job in just building up the suspense. The first one was on an airplane. The second one was on a highway with a log truck, and everybody that's seen it knows what I'm talking about. The third and fourth ones were, a roller coaster and a racetrack, which both of those movies were pretty forgettable nonsense. Characters were unlikable. Nobody was likable in those movies. And then the fifth one happened, which had some twists and turns going on, and they really built up the suspense in that one. There are times that you would see an item on the ground and you're waiting for the character to hit that item, and they're going back and forth. They're not actually hitting that item or object, and you're like, oh, okay, come on. Oh, they're gonna, oh no, they didn't hit it. And then something else happened. You're like, oh, whoa, I did not see that coming. And now we have the new one that kicks off in the 60s, 50s or 60s. I think it was the 60s, with the girl who has this premonition on the not Space Needle collapsing with everybody dying. And now we jump into present day with her granddaughter, and we get to learn about, well, what happened if people were saved and went on to have families and all that fun stuff that people have been talking about for a long time. They finally did it, and now we're like, oh, that actually makes sense, and I can see why they did that. It has Tony Todd's final performance, who, the man looked really sickly, but he killed it. Probably the wrong use of words. His final words were actually ad-libbed from what I read, so they were kind of like him saying a farewell to the audience because he knew his time was up. There are some cool death scenes and some cool set pieces, but at the same time, they're not the most unique death scenes. Like, there is one sequence I really like where the girl is talking about that could happen with that and that and that, and then they show the stuff like going on close up is like what they would usually do when there's a death scene, and then later on a character has that happen to them in the background, and you're like, oh snap. But then there's a death scene where there's a character and it turns into, when they are dying, you see a jitter and the actor turns into CGI. It was a cool scene, but at the same time, when the moment it just flickered and the person turned to CGI, it pulled me out of the movie, because it's like, oh, really? Did you really have to go CGI there? I think even some type of prosthetics would have worked much better, but no, it went from real person to CGI, and it looked like a complete downgrade in quality. It was like when you're going from a cinematic on an old PlayStation 1 to in-game footage. How it was just a complete change graphically. That's how this sequence was. And it sucks because before that it was a pretty cool sequence. Like I said, there are some nice little plot twists that happen where you're like, oh. And there are a few areas like, that doesn't make sense. But whatever, it's Final Destination. You can't always expect it to work. You're just there to have a good time. The best entries in the series also make you care about some of the characters. In the first one, you cared about Claire and... now his name escapes me. Second one, you cared about Kimberly. Third one, didn't care. Fourth one, didn't care. Fifth one, I've only seen the fifth one once, so I don't remember any of the character names, but there are characters in there I did like. And then this one, there are characters I did like. And it's really plays with the aspect that if you mess with Death's design, Death will fuck you up. I did have a friend once who said, I liked it better when the deaths seemed realistic, that nothing could have interfered with it. There was one sequence he had a problem with, and I could totally understand why. In the first movie where water floods in a bathroom and the character dies, but then the water retracts. That was kind of like, yeah, I could totally understand that. That kind of happens here in a hospital sequence, but it is what it is. I will say there is one really cool death scene at the beginning that is well deserved, and I cheered for that death. I know people are probably like, because of the person that got hit, but they deserved it. It was suspenseful. It was engaging. I did mostly like the characters. So I had a good time with it. It's better than 3 and 4. I don't know if I'd say it's better than 1, 2, and 5, but I did enjoy it. And Tony Todd, once again, did have a good final moment. Overall, I am going to give Final Destination Bloodlines a 7 out of 10. I mean, that could go up at some point, but it could also go down on repeated viewings. But whatever the case, I did enjoy it. I do recommend giving it a try, especially if you have liked the other ones. And that is that. What is your favorite Final Destination death scene? Let me know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has clicking and support me. You can support me on Patreon and Bluesky at tokuaannetwork, Network, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami, by website Creativity by Design LLC.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at Creativity by Design LLC.com/shop. There's a link in the description below. Should also be connected to YouTube. There's a GoFundMe to help out. Well, there's one to help the channel survive another 10 years, and one for health-related stuff. See my news report for more details on that if you haven't seen it. And until next time, bye.